Hey, social medias. This week's the most fantastic week I've had in a while, except for I didn't interview my child best friend. He'll be here next week. We talked about, Punxsutawney Phil there. This is a big event. Everybody loves Groundhog Day, and everybody's like crossing their fingers across the world, like, please don't let the groundhog see its shadow. I was there live. You'll hear about it. And then also, China balloon. I was here with my friend John this week. It's a super good time. Love everybody. Let's get to the show. Welcome back to the Lifetimes Podcast. I'm your host, Lloyd Phillips. Today I'm live with John Krebs. Now, for anybody that listens every week, you're like, wait, I thought Hudson was going to be on. Yes, my childhood best friend, he will be on here. We couldn't link up this weekend. Got busy. I'm assuming they were. That's it. He'll be on here next week. Very exciting guy, which is why I talked about it. Anyway, so this past week.
Hey, for everybody looking forward to Hudson, it's just me today.
Yeah, it's just John, the equivalent of, what's that guy's name who played the Joker in the last movie?
Yoshi.
No, what's Phoenix River? That was his brother.
Phoenix River.
Joaquin Phoenix. You're like Joaquin Phoenix. Anyway, so
wait, why am I like him?
In the first 30 seconds for shouting random things. Who's Yoshi?
I just picked somebody to.
I love Yoshi. Did you play Super Mario Brothers back in the day?
No, I had a Sega.
So did I. Sega.
Mm-hmm.
That's what every game started with, by the way.
Yeah, you plug in that little box. No, I didn't play Mario.
Well, so anyway,
I still am trying to figure out why I am Joaquin Phoenix.
I don't know. Yeah, it's fine. So here's where I'm going with this. So this week, some real special stuff happened here, John. And I know you're very knowledgeable about a lot of different things, but this week I was in Pittsburgh. Well, I've been in Pittsburgh every week for a couple months, but I was in bed at 8 p.m. and my calendar, on my iPhone, the calendar dinged and it said February 2nd, Groundhog Day. And it's 8 p.m. And I thought right then, isn't Groundhog Day somewhere up north? That's what I thought. Because, for anybody that's new, we don't have lots of new people anymore. But I live in Oklahoma, but I'm in Pittsburgh. So I was like, isn't this thing close to here? And I looked it up. It was, I'm giving you iPhone directions. It was 64 miles away.
From where you were in Pittsburgh?
Punxsutawney was 64 miles from where I was in Pittsburgh. And but I didn't know anything about the event. I didn't know what time it started, so I looked it up, and the website that I looked up said 6:30. I was like, oh, it's 6:30. That's when they show the groundhog.
AM?
Yeah, at 6:30, and it was 64 miles away. I'm like, I got to get there. I got to go. Like, I have to do it because the last time I was in Pittsburgh, frequently, it was like 8 years ago when my office was in Ohio. And so now it's in Pittsburgh, and I thought, well, if I'm ever going to go, it's got to be now, because other than that, I mean, when am I going to be here regularly? So I woke up at 4 a.m., and I drove to this thing. I got there at 5:30. That's what time I got there.
Find your spot.
What people don't know, well, it's not like, it's funny that you say that, because at Corpus Christi Buck Days Parade, have you been there? They like,
no.
Oh, they'll paint the streets with the family name, and those like, this is our section. And if you, I've talked about this on the podcast before. And so if you get in somebody's family section, you're in trouble. Like, it's fights and all that. This was a true news story, and I'm not exaggerating. I was watching the news in Corpus one night for Buck Days Parade, even though I know I'm talking about, Punxsutawney. Well, I shifted gears for a second.
There's a difference.
And so on the newscast, the newscaster said, Buck Days Parade was a success this year. He's like, there were only 6 stabbings and blah, blah, blah. And now I say that, and I'm not even saying it to be funny. I'm not, there's no exaggeration. That's what he said on the newscast. There were only 6 stabbings at Buck Days this year. And I thought, yeah, we're never going to Buck Days. I lived in Corpus. That was like the biggest thing in Corpus. And I'm never going to Buck Days. Ever. Because of that. It was a success. Nobody died. There was only 6 stabbings. Yeah, so now back to Punxsutawney. Welcome back. Life and Times Podcast. Why am I so intense right now? Because I just put a dose of Winchester Ranch Beard Co. on my face. Not only does it nourish the upper skin, it also gets in the innards. And that's why I like it. It's paraben-free, sulfate-free, essential oils. I don't know if it actually, if you listen to my podcast, scratch essential oils. It's got oils that are essential to your face. Face oils, we call it. And I love Winchester Ranch Beard Co. I wouldn't carry anything else. I carry it in my bag every week. I fly to different states all the time, and I don't leave home without Winchester Ranch Beard Co. All the essential oils. I personally have AM Lumber in my arsenal right now, and the other 3, but that's what I'm rolling. Winchester Ranch Beard Co. American Survival Co. 3 things. They're American, they're in survival, and they're a company. And that's why they came up with American Survival Co. And here's the thing. We love American Survival Co. They're one of the top survival schools in the entire world. They have 2 locations. It's an awesome place. But I tell you what they do also. You know, the owners, they were on a Netflix special, Snowflake Mountain, which was an acclaimed hit, by the way. Check them out, AmericanSurvivalCo.com. Love you guys. Let's get back to the show. I would guarantee, I guarantee, nobody's died in the history of 1899 to now at the Punxsutawney Phil Festival for Groundhog Day. It's never happened.
No.
Only 7 people died at the Punxsutawney Groundhog Day this year. Never happened. Anyway, so I drive there. I get there at 5:30. Here's what I did. I don't know. I haven't been there before. I know they're going to show this groundhog that I assume at 6:30. That's what I think, because that's what the article.
Well, the movie, the groundhog came out like early in the morning with Bill Murray.
Well, John.
That's the only experience I have of Punxsutawney Phil.
I would venture out to say that 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. is it early in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty early.
That's pretty early.
Yeah. So it was 5:30, and I walk into Goobers Hill. It's I don't whatever. It's an archway that you walk into to get into the property. Goobers Hill. This is so embarrassing. Whatever, man.
Where's our guy that's supposed to look this stuff up?
Well, I got it. I took pictures. I was there, and they even said it during the ceremony. So like I walk in, and while I'm approaching, there's a fireworks show going on before I walk in. I then walk into the archway.
An early morning fireworks show?
Yeah, it's awesome. And they got bonfires so you can sit and get warm. And then every news station for the entire state of Pennsylvania and national news stations all have their news trucks set up there in the back. And there's live music playing. And I can only assume I did not engage, nor did I actually see, because it was 5:30 a.m., that Cold Snap, Samuel Adams was the sponsor of this event. So they were passing out Cold Snap. It's like, in Oklahoma, the alcohol shuts down at 2. Well, that festival kicks off at 3 a.m., so they just got it flowing. The bands were amazing up there, and that's it. But I'll go more in depth because I want to tell a story, because I don't think people know this. I didn't know. I didn't know until I was there. So you're there, all this is happening. Now, there's another fireworks show at 6:30. And it's an unbelievable deal. And so people are speaking. The governor of Pennsylvania was there. Miss Pennsylvania was there. And, local celebrities, I guess, if you're from Pennsylvania.
You're still in the morning, right? 6:30 in the morning?
That was like 6:30. So eventually, then the inner circle, those are the guys that wear the top hats. If you ever watched it on the news or anything like that, those are the people that you see. So these people, the inner circle, they're going to introduce them, and they're rolling in at 7 o'clock. Now, what you don't know this whole time is I'm looking for the groundhog. I assume somebody would be carrying it in a cage or whatever. No. previous to 3 a.m. on the stage that they're speaking, there's a stump, like this big tree stump. That's actually, it's not a real tree that it's on the stage. And so in there's a door. Now, I don't know this back then, but the groundhog was obviously already there. So the inner circle walks in. They get on stage. It's the past presidents, current presidents, the inner circle. They introduce all of them, and then they just like give a couple speeches and the sponsors or whatever. You know, it's like that kind of thing. The actual event for the groundhog thing probably lasts 10 minutes. That's it. The whole event's 10 minutes. I've watched this my whole life. There's a movie about it. The event is 10 minutes.
Where they pull the groundhog out?
Yeah, but if you live in Punxsutawney or if you live in the area, it's like a 3 or 4 day festival. But the event, 10 minutes. So they all get on stage and they're like, oh, I'm going to pull out Phil when I tap on this door 3 times. I'm going to remove him from his slumber, his yearly slumber, which is funny because here's what people have told me. And that's why I'm telling this story. I'm telling the story for a reason. The general public doesn't know this, even if you watched it on stage. She was like, well, the groundhog sees a shadow. Winter extends 6 weeks. Yeah, so people are like, how do they find that same groundhog every year? I swear to God, this is what people ask me. How do I find the same groundhog every year is what they're asking me. And I'm like, but I was there and I'm like, because they don't go to a special hole and hope it's there. Could you imagine if that was really how the event went down? Like, I know there's a groundhog.
Get your shovel.
Yeah, I know there's a groundhog in that hole. I hope he comes out.
Hopefully it's Phil again.
I hope Phil knows it's February 2nd and he just comes out today. That's what I hope. No, it's a pet. Like they keep it.
It's in a cage.
Yeah, gobbler. I said Gober's, whatever I said. Gobbler's Knob. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like something in Branson.
The archway was Gobbler's Knob. So anyway, so he's like, I'm knocking on this door 3 times, and he pulls it out. And I'm telling this for a reason because most people don't know this. I know from the questions I was being asked. Because you always hear, like, if the groundhog sees its shadow. When I think of shadows, it's like I'm standing on the ground, and the sun hits me, and I can see my shadow. Which would also make the Groundhog Day seem stupid because I'm standing out there. If I can see my own shadow, well, the groundhog's going to see a shadow. That's stupid. That's what I thought, right? It's not how it works. There's a reflective device. I tried to explain this to you earlier, and you said it was a mirror. And it's not a bathroom mirror. It's just something where you can see the reflection.
Oh, explain it how you explained it to me. And then we'll let, hey, YouTube, put up a poll. Is this a mirror or is this some kind of
mirror
reflective device?
Yeah, I like that. That's what I said. So it's not a mirror. It's not like you're looking at a bathroom mirror. So what they do is they put the groundhog on the stump and the inner circles all around. I believe there's 13 or 15 guys. And so this reflective thing that they put right beside the groundhog, and I don't know what the required time, maybe 5 seconds. They put the groundhog on there, and then they stare at the groundhog's head. And if they notice that the groundhog turns his head towards the reflection of this reflective device, then there's 2 scrolls. One is, winter's going to end 6 weeks early. One is it's going to extend for 6 weeks. But if it notices its shadow, winter is extended for 6 weeks. That's it. Like, there's no other science to it. For those of you that don't know,
no, there's no science to it at all.
The groundhog is actually right 40% of the time. It's not like it's not like the world hinges on this groundhog.
There's like a camel that eats carrots before a Super Bowl, and I feel like it predicts more Super Bowl victories than the groundhog does.
Yeah, could you imagine in America, in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, people in China are like, please, groundhog, come on, let it in, groundhog, come on. But that's not. But people don't know. It's not like you don't see the shadow from the sun. It's don't turn right. Don't look right, groundhog.
Yeah, it depends on which way they let it out of its cage.
Yeah, but that's it. And then they read it. They read this scroll, and then the whole deal. I don't know if people know that the event is actually. I feel like I don't know how it started in 1899. There in Punxsutawney, but I don't know if people realize that the event is actually meant to be very humorous because the songs they sing are funny. Their speeches they give are funny. The scroll that the groundhog picks is funny. It's all like makes you laugh. I don't know if people know that.
I didn't.
Anyway, so they read it and then
I took it very seriously.
But what people don't know is if you haven't been, once they read 6 more weeks of winter or not 6 weeks of winter, that's the end of the show. In the next 3 sentences after they read that, the show's over because he'll be like, well, that concludes the presentation, wherever he says 30,000 people get bussed a mile and a half from the Walmart parking lot. 30,000 people from the Walmart parking lot to Gobbler's Knob. And that means right when they read what's happening, 30,000 people sprint to the bus line. I mean, immediately, right? He's like, 6 more weeks of winter. People are turning and running towards the buses. So I'm in line for like 30 minutes, 20 minutes. I had 20 minutes. And I don't feel like I moved an inch. But then I thought, because I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I don't have time for this. Like, I got to go. You know, I got to get out of here. I got to be in Pittsburgh. So I walked to my car, but it's up and down like hills of Pennsylvania, and I'm chubby, you know, so like I don't want to walk really, but I knew I could beat the buses back. I was sore for 2 days.
Well,
because of the groundhog.
Well, New Year's resolution.
Yeah, I don't like groundhogs anymore. I'll tell you that. And after I found that the whole thing's a sham, I didn't know. Like I thought we was.
Yeah, the groundhog is like the encore show, and then that's over.
Yeah, the Russians have been waiting on the groundhog shadow all year. Like, crap, man, it's gonna be cold here still.
Siberia, where we send our captives.
Yeah,
extra cold.
They thought it was gonna end in 6 weeks, but it didn't. It extended. Side note, and we'll get to the Chinese balloon.
Wait, was it?
Let's start now.
No, hold on.
Let's start.
Was
now.
it? Is it? They saw his. He saw his shadow. Phil saw his shadow, or no? Because I don't watch. I don't.
Did
pay
Phil
attention.
see a shadow?
Did Phil see his shadow?
Or at 7 a.m. was it the Chinese balloon? Oh yeah, that put a shadow on the whole place. So did
they
Phil,
got eclipsed by the Chinese balloon?
So did Phil see his shadow? Let's get to this in just a second because I'm going to reference something. Did Phil see a shadow? Yes. So if I didn't clarify, and probably not because you're asking, if Phil sees Punxsutawney Phil, if Phil sees a shadow, it means winter lasts 6 more weeks. Yeah, 6 more weeks. If Phil didn't glance over at his reflection, it's not. So, speaking of the Chinese balloon, Leighton, who's not on the show today for whatever reason, he's in the room. So
I don't know where he is.
So, but Leighton.
If anybody's seen Leighton, let us know.
Leighton's wife.
Put a comment in the YouTube.
Yeah,
Tell us where you last saw him.
Leighton's wife believed, because you made a TikTok. You made a TikTok this week. You know, when the Chinese balloon is flying over. And John made it talk short. You can tell it or I will.
Yeah, you got it. You're in control.
All right, so John made this TikTok, but he recorded the moon. The moon, and he said, "Oh my gosh, I spotted it.
I spotted another one.
It's the Chinese balloon, and it's right over us in the middle of Oklahoma. Like I see it." And he elaborated more, whatever, you know, on his TikTok. And Leighton's wife saw the TikTok, and he said, "John saw the Chinese balloon in Verdigris, Oklahoma, in Claremore, America, Tulsa, depending on where you're at in the country. Tulsa, Oklahoma. John saw the Chinese balloon. They're spying on Tulsa." I guarantee Sylvester Stallone sent him down here.
Yeah.
Oh, Tulsa
King. The king.
Yeah, just trying to get some info. And she was dead serious. She was dead serious saying, like, the Chinese are spying on us in Claremore. I didn't know what to. I didn't know what to say. You know, I was very confused by it. But she thought it was Red Dawn. She thought Red Dawn just happened in Tulsa.
Yeah. Yep. It was coming down for a minute.
I was nervous about it. When I
was hunkering down.
Yeah, Red Dawn's here.
We all took shelter in our closet for the bombs.
You did?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I've said this before on a podcast. I just want to reference it. Speaking of getting in the closet. So I had these old neighbors that lived beside me, and they never went. They don't own a cellar, and they wouldn't even go to one, which I think is strange. They go to the innermost part of their house, and they would wear tornado helmets. They had helmets for every member in their family called tornado helmets. That's a fact. Those are the Jameses. And I'm like, what? Go to a cellar.
Well, what's a tornado helmet? Look, I'm not going to knock it until I see what a tornado helmet is. Honestly,
like a football
little bit
helmet.
Of respect. I don't know.
A football helmet, a spelunking helmet, like
what's
a motorcycle helmet?
Yeah, just something kind of plastic on their head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Look, honestly, that's fine.
Anyway, that's strange. That was for real. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah.
Red Dawn.
Nah, we're past it. So here's what I'm talking about. Last night, and here's the thing. Listen, if you watch the show, if you listen or watch the show, way more people listen, but if you were to see the show on YouTube, I'm not a sophisticate. That's what I said last night. I'm not a sophisticate. I mean, hear my speech pattern. You hear me speak.
I think if you say I'm not a sophisticate, I think people will know what you mean.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with it. But last night, a foundation dinner, charity event, asked me if I would MC the event. And originally when they asked me, it was like 6 months ago, and I was like, and I asked a couple of questions, but after I did, I'm like, yeah, sure. That's what I said. 6 months ago, I didn't I didn't do research. I didn't work out any jokes. Like I didn't work out nothing. It came down to Wednesday. The event's on Saturday, and this.
But you were asked 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You were asked in
August. Yeah. Okay. And so it's Wednesday, and I realized I'm in Pittsburgh, and I realized I don't have a tux for the event. I don't have the clothes that's required for the event. So
sounds like you've got like Cheetos rattling around in your microphone.
Yeah. Who's like, let me open this wrapper as loud as I can. Leighton in the background, he'll hear it later. He'll think it was he'll think it's a clap. He'll think it's a clap to cut that section. Good Lord, Gus.
Yeah, he bought a fundraiser. He's got like $85 worth of world's finest chocolate sitting up here.
He's like, give me the loudest wrapper they got.
I want the crunch wrap.
Oh my gosh, I love the almond creamy nougat.
I am glad Leighton showed up because he wasn't here for the first 45 minutes of this.
Yeah, that's good.
But good thing he came.
So, so back to that. Speaking of charity events, that's what he did. He's like, I bought this for charity. I'm going to make it real loud. I can hear it in the microphone. So I'm doing this event. And like I said, I'm not sophisticated at all. And nobody even thinks I am. They're like, will you do it? I'm like, yeah, sure. So Wednesday, I don't have it. That's where I was going. I don't have a tux. So now I'm starting to panic. Like, even if I were to go buy something, I know this from like suit fittings. Even if I were to go buy something, you have to get it tailored. Nothing's going to fit at all.
No.
So I call this place, right outside of Tulsa for the world, but Claremore if you're local. And I call the men's shop. And I'm like, yes, sir. Got a question. I think I know the answer, but I'm just going to ask.
I don't think this is how you
That's exactly what I said.
Conversation.
It's exactly what I said. I'm like, but
yes, sir.
Yep, it's exactly what I said. But I said, can you get a tux in like a day? That's what I said. And the guy said, well, I can have it here by Friday. And it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday at like 2 p.m. And I said, are you serious? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I threw out some measurements. I don't even know how accurate I was. I have some sport coats or whatever, so I threw it out. But what I did was I ordered 2 just so I could be safe. I'm like, just order 2. That way I have a variance. That's it. And the guy told me yes. So I roll in. I go try the suit on. I ordered 2, but it didn't matter because the smallest one was still too big. But I wore that. And my blazer last night that was made out of a tablecloth looked like a wingsuit.
Why'd you give them those measurements?
Oh, it was 8 foot wide. Like I could have flew out of Mount Washington if I wanted to. I mean,
yeah, you You were a base jumper at that point.
Yeah, side note for knowledge, everybody, Mount Washington just broke the world record for the coldest spot in the world this past weekend, Mount Washington.
OMG.
New Hampshire, tell your friends. I'm going to blow it a little. It was either it was either minus 102 or minus 108. 102.8, somewhere, whatever.
Oh, no, now you're a history podcast.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people are talking about it. So I go do this thing. So I'm like rolling in like a wingsuit. I don't pre-plan for these things. I didn't really read the script the way I was supposed to. I knew I couldn't pronounce two words, which I'll say it now for anybody that knows. Ready for this? And I'll give you a 5-second pause for anybody that thinks listening. Does anybody know what magirocophobia is?
Well, it sounds like you're scared of something.
Magirocophobia or magirocophobia or magirocophobia. And right now, if you're like, why would you say that? Because YouTube, people pronounced it 3 different ways, and the spelling was pronounced 2 different ways. It was one of the 3. What does it mean?
Well, you're scared of something.
That's right.
Like I just said.
Yeah.
Magiro.
You're not going to get it.
Magi, it sounds almost like there's some kind of magic involved. Magiro. Bring me those cards.
Okay, Harry Potter. Scared of magic.
No, bring me those Yu-Gi-Oh cards. We'll figure this out.
It is a fear of cooking. You're scared of cooking.
Yeah, see, I was right.
So anyway, but they asked me that. And the only other words that I knew that I couldn't pronounce, well, I didn't know. Ashton Kutcher's current wife, his new wife.
I don't know if you know how to pronounce his last name.
Man, I don't even care. It doesn't matter. That's the point. That's actually. I'm glad that you brought that up.
Ashton Kutcher.
I'm glad that you brought it up because
is a Magirophobe.
I'm just saying. I don't even know his name, and he's the most famous one. So he married this girl, Mila Kunis. Who knows her name?
Oh gosh.
So I'm just saying I couldn't pronounce 2 things all night long, and it was that girl. How do you say her name?
Milan Kunis.
I think it's Milan Kunis. I don't know. That's what it said. But the point is, like when you're doing like a trivia thing and you're supposed to pronounce it right, like people don't know.
I think you nailed it.
Like I never even heard of that person.
You could tell everybody's wrong if they start giving you a different pronunciation. You could tell everybody they're wrong.
Well, anyway, I knew who the person was, but I didn't know how to say it right then, which is weird. I mean, for somebody who's like world famous, for the most part, she is.
Lloyd. I thought you were talking about yourself.
Nah, but I don't know who it is. What was anyway, that's it. Was the night good? I mean, was it good?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was good. It was good, but I was supposed to fill gaps when it got weird or silent. And the last 10 minutes could have been better. I neglected my job the last 10 minutes for sure.
Why?
Well, because I was waiting on the scorecards to come, and I thought any time it was going to come. So it was like, so it was a weird silence, and then I'm standing there, and like, it's not like I prepared jokes. Back in the day when I would do stand-up comedy shows, some of the things that I would say, I wouldn't say in front of a charity function event.
No.
For sophisticates.
Sophisticates don't appreciate crude jokes. Didn't you have a comedy show not too long ago?
It wouldn't even necessarily that they were crude. It's that's a different event. So like I'm like, well,
yeah, crude's the wrong word.
Yeah. No, there's an up and coming one in Beaumont in April.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, I got to do a comedy show in Beaumont in April. That should be a real prize winner.
You get to.
That's going to be a real I get to.
Yeah, Kutcher going to be there?
Oh yeah. Kutcher and Kunis. Yeah, I sent out some RSVPs and Kutcher and Kunis did it already.
Kutcher Kunis. Yeah,
what's his name?
Ashton Kutcher.
That's what I said.
Well, it was wrong. It's Kutcher, I think. I don't know. Remember when?
Hold up. I said Kutcher, and you said
they're ooh and
I said Kutcher's like Kutcher.
Yeah, Kutcher.
Yeah, I think people know who we're talking about.
I'm pretty sure I said Kutcher.
Okay, G.I. Jane. We all know where you're going. All right,
wait, where am I going? Why did you call me G.I. Jane?
So I just felt like what was I talking about? Yeah, it was a terrible day. I was just trying to summarize here. You saying that I wasn't even far off. I mean, people know what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter.
Well, you were talking about not being able to pronounce things, and so I was just like, oh,
Yeah, well,
that sounds
you
correct.
You say that, but who's right now? Nobody knows.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Put a thing out in the YouTube. Hey, YouTube, is it Kutcher or Coocher?
Listen, I'm going to tell you what, guys. I appreciate everybody listening in today. Thank you, John Kutcher, for being on here. Kutcher.
I didn't know I'd be here by
Kutcher?
myself. I thought I'd have Leighton to help me out.
It's not Kutcher.
Hey, man, I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to ask Ushton.
Oh, yeah.
I'll call Ushton after this and see what he says.
Well, it sounds good. Well, I'll tell you what. Listen, thanks everybody for listening in today. I just feel like it was very educational for a lot of people. A lot of the people don't, they didn't know the things we brought up. This is like inside track stuff.
Well, and I'm glad that nobody got hurt by this balloon.
Okay. All right. Hold up. I was about to end the show. But just because you said that. His question earlier was to ask.
Wait, my question?
Yep.
What question did I ask? I don't remember.
Where should we have shot it?
Where should we shoot the balloon down at?
Elaborate a little more because people don't know.
Where should we shoot the Chinese spy balloon down at? We already did, but where should we have done it? Is this the direction you want to take this?
Okay, so the balloon entered from Canada and it came over Montana and then somewhere it floated
all the way across the country.
The entire United States.
Yeah.
And so when I walked in John's house earlier, the very first question, which is weird because there was already people here for an hour before I walked in.
I didn't ask it.
The very first thing that was asked when we walked in was, Haley. So she said, should we have shot the balloon down in Montana or should we have waited till the ocean where we shot it down? That was the question.
YouTube.
And she said,
tell us what you think.
She said, no right answer. But
you're a smart girl. Yeah.
I'm not saying she's not, but I'm just saying that, I would have shot it down right when it entered because they're like, well, we didn't want to shoot it down.
Didn't it come over Alaska and everything? Like it got all the way over Alaska.
I don't know if it shot over Alaska. I don't remember. I just remember it was like Canada/Montana. That's where I picked up on the story. I don't know previous. But what's funny is that like, oh, let's wait to shoot it down till it gets over the ocean or the Carolinas. It entered, I believe, whether it entered in Montana or flew over Montana. Guys, have you ever been to Montana in your life?
It's like a giant national park.
There's 40,000 people there total, I think, in Montana.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
People get lost there constantly.
I think Billings has 100,000. I think Bozeman and Great Falls has maybe 50,000 people apiece. Once again, we don't research things here.
Yeah, we're just shooting from the hip.
I think it has 400,000 people in Montana. You should shoot it down over Montana.
That's during tourism season.
Yeah, and over half of those are in 3 cities. You should have just blew it out of the sky in the middle of Montana. That's what I think. But John, he's like, what if it had chemical weapons?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't either. I'm just saying.
That's why you shoot it down over Canada, and they can deal with that.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, anyway.
Sorry to our Canadian listeners.
That was the question. Yeah, which there are some. There are some Canadian listeners.
Oh, sorry about that.
John, we don't. That's not what we do here.
What?
So, all right. Well, all right. So, thank you for listening to the show this week. Put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. We love everybody.
Sammy Sosa, also Hall of Fame.
There you go, John. Yeah, and McGuire. I believe that too. So, all right, love everybody. You guys have a good week.